The article that I used for my article review for this presentation is Storytelling for Fluency and Flair. The 8 components that I used for this article presentation is: what is the purpose? What is the research question investigated in the article? What methods were used? The participants. What methods were used? Qualitative or quantitative? What methods were used? Data collection process. What were the major results, findings, and themes? What are 2 implications of findings to my future classroom? And how does this information in your article support what you have learned in class? So, for the first one, what is the purpose? The purpose of this article was to integrate performance into storytelling to improve student fluency and also to get the students excited to read in an engaging way. Also, it is important for someone to use their voice to get the message across rather than the speed of their reading, and how students use different voices for the characters in storytelling performance. Next, what is the research question investigated in the article? The research question that was investigated in this article was, what is the role of storytelling performance in the classroom? What methods were used? The participants. The participants that were used in this article were 3rd grade students, Terry Campbell, Michelle Hosco, and also 25% of the students needed improvement in oral language fluency, and 4 children in the group were special needs. What methods were used? Qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative. In the article, there is a quote that I used for quantitative. It is, by the year's end, they had each improved by 1, 2, or 3 grade levels in reading fluency as well. These are what the students did while they were doing this activity. They improved while doing these interactive storytelling activities. Next, qualitative. The quote that I used from the article was, storytelling preparations seem to deepen the students' comprehension of the stories, which they demonstrated while talking about the stories and trying various styles of retellings, using different voices of character, reacting scenes, and spontaneizing thoughts. Next, what methods were used? Data collection process. The methods that were used for data collection process were checklists that were used to assess students' fluency while the students were presenting, storytelling, discussions, and group work. Terry and Michelle observed the students while they were doing these activities to see how they were performing and to see if they needed any improvement or to see how they are improving. Also, they used a benchmark assessment system and also Ontario Ministry of Education. Next, what were the major results, findings, and themes? Major findings was that by the end of doing this activity, students had improved their reading fluency by 1 to 3 levels. Next, the target small group students improved their comprehension and oral fluency. Examples of oral fluency that was improved were vocal effects, tone, pace, pitch, and volume. 3 out of the 4 students talked independently about the story in general. What they talked about independently were characters, setting, moral, and moral of the story. Next, what are 2 implications of the findings to my future classroom? The 2 implications of the findings of my future classroom are finding ways to motivate, excite students about subjects that they may not have interest in by doing an interactive activity. An example of this would be storytelling, role-playing plays, musicals, rewriting scripts, telling a story from the heart. When the students have a connection to what they are learning, they are more intrigued in doing it because they have a connection and they can relate to it. Also, allowing students to have the freedom of choice for their learning by having them choose a story that they would like to present they have a connection with. Lastly, how does this information in your article support what you have learned in class? This information in the article supports what I've learned in class because it uses multiple interactive activities to engage students' learning. And also, not all activities have to have a scoring guide. They can just be observed by the teacher of the student's learning, and when the teacher is observing what the student is doing, they can critique the student right then and there on what they need to improve, or they can give immediate feedback of what they are doing correct.